Warren Buffett is the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway and is considered by many to be the most successful investor in the world. He went from delivering papers and owning pinball machines to becoming known as the Wizard of Omaha with a net worth of over $80.5 billion. Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 and 9. For my top 10, top 10, 9 and 9. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more. And you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Warren Buffett, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Have the right framework.
I was wondering if you have any stock tips for any of the students. You know, we're all trying to make a little living.
I didn't think they taught that at Georgetown. The best investment I ever made, I bought a book in 1949 by a fellow named Ben Graham called The Intelligent Investor. I don't remember what I paid, but aside from what I paid for my 2 marriage licenses, that was the best investment I ever made. It's very important to have the right framework. You need to have an approach to investing that's sound. And Graham's approach is simple. But some people adopt to it, and which I did immediately, and most people don't. But if you have the right philosophy, you will find opportunities as you go through the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And frankly, you're most likely to find them when in periods like 5 years ago when we were having the panic. I mean, stocks sell at silly prices from time to time. Most stocks at one time or another sell at very silly prices. And it doesn't take a high IQ to figure out that they're cheap, but it does take a temperament that's willing to step up and actually act. I tell people, if they're going in the investment business, if you got 160 IQ, sell 30 points to somebody else because you won't need it. I mean, I figured out very early, you don't have to be that smart in this business, which is fortunate, but you do have to have the right temperament. And you have to be able to ignore what other people are saying and simply look at the facts and decide, is this stock which is selling at X worth 2X? And occasionally you'll find things like that. And when you don't find them, you don't do anything. So that's my generalized stock tip, no names.
Rule number 2, choose the right heroes.
I was very lucky in life. If you tell me who your heroes are, I will make a pretty good prediction about what you're going to do. And I had the right heroes. I was very lucky in life, and my heroes never let me down, and started with my dad, and then I had others in business. And so I have had great teachers, some formal teachers, some that were just informal teachers by instinct or example. And if I hadn't had those, my life, I'm sure, would have been very different.
Rule number 3, be comfortable saying no.
Can you help us understand how to cultivate that mindset of being comfortable saying no, being comfortable delegating? This is something that we found with our members is especially difficult for young women.
It's tough.
And we'd love to just hear your take on that, and maybe any advice you have to share about that.
I met Bill Gates in 1991, and when I did it, we had a great time talking. He thought he was going to hate it, and I wasn't too keen on it either. And about 10 hours later, we were still talking. But what really got him was when I pulled out this little date book. I'm probably the only guy in the United States with one of these still. You've got that.
Over there.
And I just flipped through it, and there's practically nothing in it. And Bill was really impressed by that. And you've got to keep control of your time, and you won't keep control of your time unless you can say no. You can't let other people set your agenda in life. And of course, I know I'm in a very fortunate position on that because I can. And in another way, I'm not so fortunate because more people ask me for things. And they're usually friends, and they say, well, can't you just make this one talk or attend this one graduation or whatever it may be? You just have to develop the ability to say no and do it a few times. If a woman can't say no, she's in trouble, right?
Right. And I mean, is this something that becomes easier over time, or how did you?
I don't think it gets a lot easier. No, it is. There's a few things that really just are uncomfortable enough. The thing I dislike the most, the only thing I really dislike in connection with my job, is if I have to fire somebody. I mean, that does not get easier for me as life has gone along. And saying no is not like firing people, but it's got a little bit of the same aspect to it. It's not easy to say no, particularly to a friend. But I will have every day 3 or 4 or 5 requests to do something, and I can't do them all. But I'm not promising it gets easier. but just keep doing it. Otherwise, other people will be running your life.
Rule number 4, do what you love.
How would you advise people who aren't necessarily going into a career field in which you would make a large base salary, such as like medicine or something like that, maybe performing arts or music? How would you advise us to keep up financially with the rest of the world?
Well, it is true that a market system does not pay as well in some activities as might seem appropriate for the importance of those activities to society. Just take teaching, for example. I mean, teaching does not pay well. And what could be more important? I mean, you've got to be as interested in who the teachers of your children are as who your accountant is, or whatever, or who's winning the heavyweight title of the world, or that sort of thing. But it doesn't pay well, and it's a fundamental choice whether you're going to go into something. For many people, it'd be a fundamental choice whether you're going to go into something you love or something to try and make a lot of money. I think that generally it pays to go with what you love. I think that it's very hard to find people when they get to be my age who say that they've loved what they've done all their life and feel it was very worthwhile, but they're terribly sad they made that choice because they didn't make a lot of money. I don't think anybody's ever said that to me, that they wish they'd gone into something else where they were uncomfortable doing it or didn't enjoy it, didn't feel very productive, but made a lot of money. So I don't think you'll find that. So I would go to work. I would go to work in whatever turns you on. It may turn out that it'll be more profitable than you can think, but almost everybody here will make enough money, unless they get some terrible habits along the way, to do reasonably well. And doing reasonably well in this country really is pretty darn good. I mean, it's not necessary to have huge amounts of money in order to enjoy yourself. I enjoyed myself when I had my $10,000, and I live in the same house that I lived in when I had about that. I bought it 41 years ago. I liked the house then. I like the house now. I mean, if you think about it, if you have a reasonable job, you'll be eating at McDonald's and I'll be eating at McDonald's. So we're at a push on food. I mean, in fact, I hope it's Dairy Queen, actually, and and if you come to Dairy Queen, you'll see me. And you can order anything on the menu I can order, and we both can afford it. You'll wear the same clothes I wear. I'll pay more for my suits, but as soon as I put them on, they look cheap on me. So we'll look about the same. We'll both live in the same kind of houses. I live in that house from 41 years ago, and it's warm in winter, and it's cool in summer, and it's comfortable. And you'll live in a house that's similar. And what difference does it make if you have 50 more rooms or guest houses or all that? It'll probably just bring you problems. I mean, you have to worry about the greenskeeper or something when you get through. So I have been in the houses of people where the houses are worth probably 200 times what my house is worth, and I would not be any happier in those houses at all. In fact, I'd be less happy. I'd just have one more thing to worry about, and dozens of people around the place, and people quitting, and people stealing from you, and all kinds of things. To hell with it. We'll drive the same kind of car. In fact, you'll probably drive a better car. I drive a car that's about 8 years old. I don't know what it's worth now, but it gets me around fine. I mean, I'm perfectly happy. We'll watch the same television. we'll work on the same computer pretty much. The only difference will be how we travel long distances. You know, I will fly in a plane that's more comfortable than flying Southwest Airlines or something, which I've got nothing against. But that's the one real big difference. And other than that, I do what I like every day. I hope you'll do what you like every day to do. And I work with nice people. I hope you work with nice people. And there's 24 hours in the day, and those are where the hours go. So great wealth is the tiniest bit different in a real sense than having just a decent income. And to trade a decent income and something you love doing and something where you feel worthwhile doing it for huge wealth where you trade off a lot of your principles would be a terrible mistake.
Also, if you want to have more self-belief and self-confidence, I've designed a special free program to help you get it, where I send you a video every day for 254 days. The research says it can take up to 254 days for you to build a new habit, and this program will help you get it. Once again, it's free, and the link to join is in the description below.
Investing in yourself is the best thing you can do. Anything that improves your own talents. Like, nobody can take it away from me. They can run up huge deficits and the dollar can become worth far less. You can have all kinds of things happen. It's important to associate with people that are better than yourself. They made us do all these crazy things to get out of ourselves, and so we stood on tables and did all kinds of things.
Rule number 5, get some experience.
Over the years, I've developed a better understanding of human nature. I can learn a lot about investments out of a book, but I don't think you can learn as much about human beings. You really need some experiences, and I'm wiser in that respect than I was 40 or 50 years ago, even though I can't rattle off numbers the same way I used to be able to.
Rule number 6, model natural leaders.
If you look around the world at the people that succeed and the people that other people want to work with, the natural leaders, it isn't because they have the highest IQ or they can kick a football the furthest or anything like that. They're people that you want to work with. I mean, I've got a wonderful friend named Tom Murphy. I know I would do anything for him. You know, he's never going to ask me to do it, but I mean, I want to do it. I mean, I want to do it. I mean, he's done so many things for me, and he doesn't have to pay me to do it or anything of the sort. That's what you want to. You want to look for that, and you want to be that.
Rule number 7, ask for help.
There's a company here in Washington called Geico, you know, and I first got exposed to that in 1950. I was 20 years. I was 19 years. Well, it was 51. I'm sorry. I was 20 years old, and I came down here, and I came down on a Saturday because I'd learned that my professor who I worshipped at Columbia named Ben Graham was the chairman. I got down here and the door was locked. When I went to the building, because it was Saturday, and I pounded on the door, and some janitor let me in, and a marvelous fellow named Lorimer Davidson spent 4 hours with me teaching me all about insurance, and he helped me so much in life. You're going to get help by some wonderful people in life. It's a great thing to remember later on when you get to be my age, that, you know, all the help you've received from different people, because nobody does it alone. Obama got in trouble when he said that in the campaign, that, you know, nobody does it by themselves. Nobody does do it by themselves. We all sit in the shade of trees that were planted by others. So it's obligatory, I think, to plant a few trees ourselves if we've had good luck. It's been a great ride, but it's not over.
Rule number 8, fulfill your potential.
What are the best ways for youth to get started now in securing their financial future?
For what, to secure their financial future?
For youth.
Youth? Oh, well, it's not very complicated. It goes back to getting full use out of your own talents first. I mean, the difference between whether you're going to be earning X or 2X or 3X a year 20 years from now is going to be a function of how well, not how much talent you have, but how well you use the talents you already have. And so that is your best financial future is your own ability and your a capacity to use those abilities to their potential, and that can't be taken away from you. They can't even tax it. I mean, most things. If you own a piece of real estate, if they double the taxes, they double the taxes, and that changes your ownership in the property, because now, in effect, the taxing authorities own more of it because they've got a greater command on the revenue stream. The same thing about almost any asset you have, but they don't tax what's in your head, and they don't tax your ability to start performing when you get to work in the morning and finish in the evening to your potential. One of the things that amazes me is how people who really do perform well just sort of jump out at you once you're running a business. When I got out of school, I thought, everybody would behave that way, but they don't. Most people sort of go through life in a sleepwalk, and if you don't, you will stand out. So the biggest thing for your financial future is yourself.
Rule number 9, get on the right train.
If success is contingent on a good plan, excellent education and execution, and a driven mindset, what do you think makes businesses fall apart when all of these factors have been met? And
Some businesses are just tough. I mean, a significant percentage, of the restaurants that open up this year are going to fail. I mean, there are a lot of tough businesses. I've always said, if you want to be regarded as a great business person, find a great business. And there's a huge difference. I mean, it does make a difference. I use this analogy when I got out of Columbia, one of my best friends was a terrific talent. And he went to work in the steel business, and he did okay, but it was the wrong business to be in. It's very important to get on the right train. Mm-hmm. I mean, you want to get on a train that's going to go 90 miles an hour, right, and not one that's going to go 30 miles an hour, and you're going to try to figure out how to push it along a little faster. Right. So it really does make a huge difference. And there are some businesses that are inherently, there's far more opportunity in than others. So you want to give a lot of thought to what train you're getting on. And I owned a half interest when I was, 21 or 22, in a service station, a Sinclair service station with a pal of mine in the National Guard. It was a lousy business. We had a guy right next to us. He kept selling more gallons of gas than we did. He would cut our prices and everything. I mean, I don't care if you're a combination of Steve Jobs and Larry Ellison and everyone else. You're not going to succeed if you got a guy selling gas below cost next to you. So it's important to get on the right train.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is have fun.
Here we are.
Hello.
Ready to go.
Ready to work.
We got the wrong name tags on.
This is just a sample of our competence. If you think this is bad, wait till we really get into action.
Yeah, just fill it up to that.
Whoa.
Well, keep it going. You got to get 2 balls on there.
I'll see if I can do better.
Oh my God.
See, I'm very generous.
They're going to order from you from now on, not from me. Who had the bad luck to draw me? If you want anything later on, it's on me.
The cone is okay.
You guys want to learn how to help customers?
You bet.
I would love a vanilla cone.
A vanilla cone. Is that all you want today?
That'll do it.
That'll be.
Let's upsell her.
You didn't do anything wrong. It's just taking some time. So if that barks at us a little
I'm
bit,
a slow customer. It's okay.
Thank you. Have you been to Dairy Queen before?
Do you want a dip or not dip?
Can I have a triple chocolate brownie?
That is really one of our best items.
In fact, if you don't eat it, we will.
All right, what else?
I'm gonna keep it simple and go banana split, please.
Okay, that's
a double banana split?
Yes, sir.
You're a real man.
All right, what would you like?
I want a Oreo Blizzard small.
Oh, that's one of our most popular. What else can we do?
I want a medium Reese's Blizzard.
Okay.
That's very popular.
Is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that peanut butter.
Extra peanut butter for him.
Now I've got a really special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video, and how are you going to take action on it this week. When you schedule in what day, what time, and what place you're going to take action, you have a 91% chance of actually following through versus just a 35% chance if you just got motivated but never created a specific plan. And when you share your plan publicly and have some accountability, you increase your chances even further of actually following through. So I want to know your single biggest takeaway and your plan of action this week in the comments so I can celebrate you.
Mr. Buffett, in the past you invested in China, South Korea, and Israel. And recently you partnered with 3G Capital and Jorge Paulo Lemann from Brazil over for the Heinz deal. Does this mean, are you tempted to venture into the Brazil market next?
I didn't get the question.
The question, you did the Heinz deal. The question is, are you going to invest in Brazil next?
I don't know where I'm going to invest next. That's what makes my job interesting. I mean, I'm not kidding. I mean, if you went out and played golf and every drive went in the hole, you'd give up. The game wouldn't be interesting. I mean, what's interesting is when you get in the rough and have to come out and a few things like that. So I love the fact that I don't know what I'm going to do next. You mentioned the Israel investment. In 2006, in the fall, I got a letter from a fellow, and I never heard of him, and I never heard of the company he was talking about. But he said, my name is Eitan Wertheimer, and I want to tell you a little about my company, Ishkar. The letter was a page and a half long, and he said, if he sold the company, the family sold the company, the only company they wanted to sell it to was Berkshire Hathaway. And if I was interested, they'd be glad to come over from Israel and explain it to me. And it just jumped off the page that this was an interesting idea. So I emailed them, and they came over very shortly, and we bought the business. We handed them $4 billion for 80% of a company where I'd never seen it or anything. Eitan kept saying, you got to come over to Israel and see the plants and everything. You won't believe how wonderful they are. And I said, Eitan, I don't go to Council Bluffs, Iowa. You know, I mean, I am doing fine in Omaha. And he said, no, you got to see it. I said, no, I don't. I said, we can make a deal without seeing it. He said, well, if you buy the company, will you come and see it? I said, if we buy the company, I'll come. So we bought the company, and I went over there, and it's true. I've never seen plants like this. It was the greatest operation I've ever seen. And Eitan said to me, he said, you know, that's why I want you to come over to see these things. I said, listen, Eitan, if I'd come and seen them, I'd have paid more money. So we have a wonderful partnership with the people in Israel. But I don't know tomorrow. Our partnership with the people in Brazil, with Jorge Paulo Lemann and his associates, they are sensational people. I got to know Jorge Paulo when I was on the board of Gillette with him. And the opportunity to buy into a wonderful business like Heinz and to be partners, and they'll do all the heavy lifting. They run the place with Jorge Paulo and his associates. I mean, it's a great opportunity for us. And I don't know what the opportunity will be tomorrow. With Jorge Paulo, as last December, I was going out to Boulder, Colorado, where he had a group that met, and he said, I think I've got an idea might interest you when I get out there. And so I went out there, and as we came back on the plane, he explained what he was thinking about in terms of Heinz, and I said, count me in. And I will tell you one other thing, which is quite impressive about him. After I said that and went a little further in the thing, he sent me a one-page governance description of how it would work between the two of us, and he sent me a very brief description of what he thought would be a fair deal for both of us. I didn't have to change a word. I mean, those are the kind of people you like to associate with.
If you want to change your life for free in the next 30 days, check out my training right here below. Or if you want 10 more awesome rules from Warren Buffett, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy them. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.